to Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. The Peace Corps was established in March of 1961 by President Kennedy. Its official goal is to assist developing countries by providing skilled workers in fields such as education, health, entrepreneurship, women's empowerment, and community development. Recently, the Peace Corps announced that the University of Vermont ranked number 3 among medium-sized U.S. schools on the agency's list of top 25 volunteer-producing colleges and universities for 2025. UVM has long held one of the Peace Corps' top spots for volunteers. Currently, there are 19 UVM alumni serving in 14 countries worldwide. To talk about the Peace Corps and its mission, I'm joined by Arminda King, UVM Peace Corps Strategic Campus Recruiter, and next to Arminda is Travis Reynolds, who leads the Peace Corps program at UVM. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
And congratulations on this designation. That's a huge accomplishment.
UVM has been part of the top 25 recruiting schools for over 25 years, but we've held the number 3 slot for this year in 2024.
That's incredible and some high praise. And before we get into, we'll talk about this in a second, you guys both served yourself, and we've obviously got some stuff here and we've got some photos, so we're going to talk about your incredible experiences in just a minute. But first, Arminda, I want to talk about what it's like recruiting for the Peace Corps at UVM.
It's been a very rewarding experience. I have a lot of support on campus. A lot of teachers or staff have served themselves, so they understand the value of the program, and I've had quite a bit of support in whatever programs I feel that are best to reach the students. Usually my job involves making sure that people know that the Peace Corps exists, that it's an opportunity that they can do themselves, and so that's my main job here on campus.
And you've talked about how recruitment at UVM has a long history of success, but tell us a little bit about how the history has gone just in its whole lifetime at UVM.
So UVM has recruited 905 volunteers since its inception in 1961. It's ranked, it's been an official partner of Peace Corps since 2004. I think the Peace Corps has such a I think that Peace Corps has such a great relationship with UVM because UVM students are very globally minded, willing to take chances, and I think that's why we have such great success.
What do you think that says about Vermont as a state? Is it just a people that love to give back?
I think so. Based on what Travis can speak more, he's a native Vermonter. But I do think that Vermonters are very globally minded and willing to give back to their communities, both here and abroad.
Yeah, and Travis, it looks like you agree.
Absolutely. And I think part of it also is just that, in part because so many Vermonters have served in the Peace Corps, those stories circulate. And so Arminda and I were just in Greensboro at the Greensboro Free Library doing a Peace Corps presentation, and in the audience there was Nancy Hill, who had served in the Philippines, Fern Fontaine, who had served in Cameroon, Mary Young, who had served in Korea, Corrine had served in Senegal, and Ruth Brown, who has served twice in this tiny room in Greensboro in the Northeast Kingdom. And all of those people bring stories back, and people know what the Peace Corps is and can imagine themselves there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit about what the service involves. How long are people there, and where are they going?
Yeah. So a typical Peace Corps service is a 27-month commitment. So the first 3 months are an extended pre-training that takes place in the country of service, and you're getting some of the best language training in the world. You are getting technical training, and you're getting intercultural awareness training, basically, so that you're well prepared to serve in your community. And then that's followed by 24 months of service, living with a family in a community, working on a number of projects in your area of service.
And how do volunteers get assigned to where they're going? Is it something they have some say in it?
So it's changed a lot over the years. So when I applied for Peace Corps service, you applied to the Peace Corps. And if you were accepted to the Peace Corps and the country partners basically decided where you went. And the idea was that the host countries had a substantial role in basically directing you and your skill set towards the projects that you were supposed to support. So I was a farm kid from the Northeast Kingdom on a maple farm, and I spoke French as an undergraduate. I was a French major. And so somebody looked at my transcript and said, oh, a French-speaking kid who works with trees, ideally suited for agroforestry in Senegal.
And there you went.
There I went. And I didn't know anything about grafting mangoes or grafting lemon trees or planting live fences. I learned all that on the job. But again, it was an extraordinary training, extraordinary experience. Today, you actually do have the option of applying for a specific position. So if you know you want to work in a certain part of the world, if you know you want to do a certain type of service or work in a particular field, you can apply for that specific position. Although there is still the option to tick the little box that says, send me where I am most needed. And then that puts you into sort of the old system of you're applying to the Peace Corps, you're willing to serve where your support is needed, and they'll send you there.
Yeah, that's incredible. And where do volunteers stay during these visits, or does it depend on the country?
It depends on the country. You can have a system where you live with a host family for the whole time. In Zambia, I had a resource family, which is a family that lives nearby that you can go to for tools or general advice, but I had my own living situation. There are some countries where you get kind of an apartment with electricity, but in Zambia and specifically, that's like one of the postings that still has the original setup where you have to go and get water yourself. You don't have electricity unless you install your own solar panels, which I did.
Wow. And was that something that you checked the box that said, place me where I'm needed? Or was it a decision that you made to go there?
I have a unique situation. I was placed in Madagascar originally in 2019 during the 2020 COVID pandemic. They evacuated everybody globally for our own safety. And I told Peace Corps the second you're sending people back, I will go. So we were the first cohort back globally, and we were placed in Zambia in the Eastern Province.
Wow, it must have been so you got to see two different places. That must have been incredible.
It was.
Absolutely, and an organization like the Peace Corps is one that's under some greater scrutiny under the current administration. And so what does that look like? Have people involved in the Peace Corps kind of moved back a little bit, or are they just as convinced as ever that people need what the Peace Corps is doing?
Our recruiting efforts haven't slowed down. Our placement efforts haven't slowed down. There is some restructuring here at home, but staff overseas is still in place. So Peace Corps is still 100% committed to serving people globally.
All right, we've actually got some photos from your experience. So let's take a look at those. Tell me what we're seeing first. You said it was in Nsaka?
Yes, in Nsaka. So in Nsaka, people in Zambia, they spend all their time outside unless they are sleeping, in which case they go home. But in Nsaka is a place that cooking takes place and also general lounging, talking with your neighbors. So it's an integral structure of any home.
Sure. And this next photo is something that you said was kind of the bane of your existence while you were out there. Talk about this.
So I was an agricultural volunteer, so my job mostly involved planting agricultural crops, sustainable farming. Goats eat anything. So there's a culture in Zambia that goats live within the town center, and then everyone's traditional fields are several miles away to prevent goats from eating all the crops. But I also had to plant trees within the city center, so that ended up being difficult.
Sure, a bit of a fight, I'm sure. And you also have a photo of a school group here, and this was one of the projects that you worked on. Tell me about this.
So this was the grassroots soccer group of for the local school. Grassroots soccer is a Peace Corps program where you teach life lessons and health advice to children while they're still in education. So these kids completed a full year of grassroots soccer. We played games, they learned about HIV/AIDS, how to build confidence, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then we have, sounds like they were making a drink here, is that right?
Yes, this is the process of making toba. Toba is mainly used for weddings. It's non-alcoholic, but it can be used for other several celebratory events. It was quite popular. You had these two barrels that were full of corn and water mixture that would be heated for about 24 hours, and then occasionally you would shuffle it back to a non-heated barrel back and forth. It was quite a fun community process to go through.
Sure, and you said that it maybe wasn't for you.
Yes, it tastes fine, and then it has a bit of a sour aftertaste, which I didn't particularly like, but everyone else loved.
All right, and you said that you were planting trees, and we actually have a photo of that tree nursery here.
Yes, this is a tree nursery that I put together with a women's group. The woman in the blue, called Chitenje, closest to the camera, that was my counterpart, Brandina Piri, so her job as a counterpart was just to help me with projects in the community. It's not something that's officially assigned, it's someone that decides that they want to help you. So we were planting orange trees and lemon trees in this picture.
All right, we got one more photo from your time there. This was a team that you worked with building a chicken coop, is that right?
Yes, so there was a cooperative in the village that wanted to do chicken farming specifically. So my job as a volunteer was to try to help them do that. We applied to a $9,000 grant and we got it. So that $9,000 paid for the entire work process, building materials, the first 3 months of operating costs of buying the chickens, the feed, the medicine. So that way they had some rainy day funds after the project was completed in case they had some hard times afterward.
Yeah, that's incredible. And Travis, like we said, you also went on a Peace Corps trip, and you went to Senegal, is that right?
Correct.
And when did you go there?
So 2005.
Nice, and you brought back some stuff.
Indeed.
So we've only got a minute or two left, but tell me about a couple of these items you have here.
Absolutely. So first right here, this
Sure.
is a traditional hat of the Pular. So the community that I was in was right on the border of Mali, Mauritania, and Senegal. Very arid, and the Pular are herders by tradition. So if you're outside in the beating sun
Sure.
for 100-degree weather for hours and hours, days and days, this makes a big difference.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is just a traditional mortar and pestle setup. Most of what I was eating in my community during Peace Corps service was ground millet. Millet's very tiny seeds, very hard, and so it's just a long effort of pounding to make it palatable, cookable. A couple of drums, and these are my goats.
So is this something you made yourself while you were there?
Oh no.
Okay.
So these are skilled crafts people. And then the last thing I just wanted to highlight was this is a traditional hoe. So that is just a branch that you would find in that appropriate shape, a piece of metal hammered in to make the blade, and in my village father was a crafts person, and so he would make these tools. And so I have a bunch of these, and actually my son still uses this in our garden at home for weeding. Just incredibly useful, simple, powerful tools.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got time for one more, so why don't you tell me about this lady here?
So again, just traditional dolls, something you can find, it seems like everywhere around the world, are people will invest that time into making things for children. Again, musical instruments, the whole bit. It is one of the things that I think I most appreciate about Peace Corps service is that these things are just on my shelves or on my walls at home, and my kids are growing up around them. And so it really is a program about both bringing support from America internationally, but also bringing the rest of the world home and making it not seem so far away or strange. It's extraordinary work.
Absolutely.
Just one last plug is anybody can serve as a Peace Corps volunteer. I want to make it super clear that although we're based at the University of Vermont, work a lot with UVM students, there are Peace Corps volunteers who are straight out of college, and there are Peace Corps volunteers who are well into retirement.
Sure, a great note, anyone can do it. And that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to thank the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX who are always willing to lend a hand. I'm Jolie Whitney. This is Across the Fence. Have a good one.